When the day comes when you're asked to be the hero, you may not get much notice, but when that call comes, you better act like this guy. Hi everybody, welcome to today's bonus badge cam lesson here at Active Self Protection. I'm your host, as always, John Correa. With me again, legendary crime fighter Mike Williver.
Today's video comes to us from my hometown, Tucson, Arizona. TPD, represent!
LuckyGunner.com works hard to stock ammo to ship today and take care of their customers. They've stood by us all in this ammo crisis and earned my business time and time again. They ship immediately, often same day, so give them your next ammo order. This is actually one of the more completely nonsensical calls that we've ever heard. So this guy has set his house on fire and then driven a mile away and assaulted two EMTs with a firearm, shot both of them, one of them fatally, then drove back to the house where he was at that he has already set on fire and shot two firefighters who were there and a person who was trying to help those firefighters in putting out the fire. He is then driven off. They got a description of that, which went out to Tucson PD. So they are driving around trying to find this guy. The officer here is going to encounter him in just a second. We do have badge cam audio of what happens. Let's listen in. It gets serious in a hurry.
1-1.
1-3.
Shots. I just got rammed here at Campbell and Irene Vista. One 115, shots fired, suspect down.
Shots fired.
115, that was me who fired shots at the suspect. Suspect is down. Gonna be here at Campbell and Irene Vista. 1U3. 1U3, are you code 4? Secure the gun. Is there more shots left?
It might be on ammo room.
He has a gunshot wound to the head.
5-3, where you at? Where you fight? You guys want to stay here? Where's they at? How far along?
Alright, so there's more shots then. Hey bro, pull up your car over here. Let's get a containment around us, okay? He has a gunshot wound to the head. Yeah. Let's look more for any other injuries. But get my car, put it right here, bro. I want a barrier between us. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna go with them then.
I'm not sure if that's gonna be like additional gunshots. Hey, bro, you stick with me. Get my car over here. You can go over there.
Over here to block you.
Go get me a knife pack, bro.
I got one. They're over there.
I think Sarge is hearing more gunshots. I don't know what else is going on at the house. He's over there by the house. By the.
I need TFT to switch it down to
Believe it or not, according to the news story that I have linked in the description, this guy actually lived through this or is currently still alive through this, though he is in extremely critical condition. He was hit one time. That one shot in the head did connect at a distance of 43 yards, and he was the only perp in this particular one. The officer was unharmed. Obviously, a bunch of people murdered earlier on this one, but they are going to render first aid to him as best they can. It actually was effective. They did get him to the hospital. He is fighting for his life right now, and we get to learn some lessons. Man, just utter stud work by this guy. I want to invite you to come train with me and with Mike at this year's Active Self-Protection National Conference last weekend in September, Manhattan, Kansas, all to benefit the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp to help abused and abandoned foster teens. Hit the link in the description, join us and train.
You have to know right now, this officer's blood is pumping, his adrenaline's pumping, his mind's going 1,000 miles an hour trying to prepare for the inevitable, which we're going to see happens here shortly, where he bumps into this, or the guy runs into him and rams his vehicle.
I really think a good portion there, make sure you're practicing your combat breathing, make sure you're going through in your mind what's to come, and hey, if I encounter this guy, grip, sights, trigger, those things.
You're trying to communicate on the radio, you're trying to drive the car, and you're certainly not expecting to be rammed and broadsided by the suspect.
And let's be honest, he's driving around in like a 1994 police version here.
Hey, Tucson, city of Tucson, my hometown, do me a favor, maybe divert some money away from your interpretive dance classes and funnel it towards the PD and their cars. This car looks like a pile.
I mean, it's a Crown Vic from like, again,
2005,
the Clinton administration, perhaps.
Unbelievable.
But I think he handles himself with it incredibly well. So again, prepping for that moment. You see the wreck happen right here. And I think the biggest thing I see from him is he maintains an emotionally calm presence. And that to me is incredible.
And he continues to drive away just enough so he has a little bit of distance. I hadn't noticed that before just now.
A little bit of space. And I love when he gets out of the car here, sees what's coming. Now, a couple things I want to notice here. Number one, he gets a little bit of distance from the car. He doesn't hug up against the car. I think that's very important. Number two, he sees his sights here. We saw the splits, if you go back and measure them, very consistent splits there, around 2 seconds. The second and third one were pretty quick, but between 1, 2, 4, and 5, he really takes the time to get enough to get hits.
For those of you new to the channel, splits is just the time between the shots that are fired. I also want to point out the amazing job he did on cover here. He's off the cover, like you said, and he's got the rim of the car, which is pretty good cover, and he's got several surfaces of the vehicle between him and a potential threat. So great job on cover.
And of course, I actually have just a little bit of inside baseball here, that the shots that he's taking, we can't see him yet. We will get to see him as he comes around the cover. 43 yards with an iron-sighted gun. Incredible marksmanship.
Most agencies don't train past 25 yards with a pistol. I mean, you can get some specialized training, but generally speaking, 25 is about the farthest you're going to go for qualifying with a pistol with an agency.
And listen, at 43 yards, almost nobody trains this far. I mean, I would say 0.01% of training people who train with a firearm are going to train at 43 yards, 50 yards or so. And so hats off to him for those hits. Now, it did take him, in my opinion, I'm almost going to guarantee you, that 5th shot. So I don't blame him for that at all. I mean, that's with iron sights, adrenaline up, having just been in a wreck, literally incredible marksmanship. Hats off to him.
And knowing he's dealing with a stone cold murderer. This guy is out there murdering people like it's cool. So he's definitely aware of the threat he's up against.
Yeah, so again, I love the fact here that he's cool, collected, sees his sights, grips the pistol, presses the trigger to get a hit. And I do think for all my officer friends, your qual's not gonna make it for you. Make sure that you're training to a very high standard, because he certainly needed it on that day. Now then, he gets on the radio here, and an interesting bit. Okay, again, I think this guy's an absolute hero, and I got nothing but just praise and kudos to him.
100%.
When we talk about this though, just gets on the radio, shots fired. Now, we do know in a modern context, probably dispatch knows which radio that is, which officer that is, where the car is, and so they have some idea of where they're coming. And yet, I really want to say, make sure that you're following that path that we talk about when it's time to talk on the radio. Who am I talking to, who I am, where I am, what I need, and then get off the radio.
Which he did here marvelously. He identified himself, a location, what was going on. Hey, I'm not shot, the bad guy shot, I shot at him. phenomenal job on the radio. So many videos we're doing lately where you just yell shots fired, and that's just not enough information.
Right. And again, a lot of times what we see folks doing is they're just talking on the radio because they're scared and they want somebody to talk to. Is the reality of things is, please come and help me, is what that is. But I love that this officer is like thinking through things. Wait a minute, I've got shots fired, suspect is down. This is the corner that I'm on. Send me responding units and paramedics. What a great thing here. Again, it's who am I talking to? Who am I? Where am I? What do I need? And then get off the radio.
I can tell you from experience, there's nothing more terrifying than hearing someone else yelling into the radio. You know they're in a bad spot and you don't know where they are.
Yeah. I do love as he makes his approach here, he takes a different angle, Mike.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that exact same thing. He takes a nice big round approach angle. He's going to get a look at this guy's hands, at his feet, where the gun might be, his condition, is he breathing, all that kind of stuff. And he's going to address the car next, which I think is phenomenal. Because a lot of people would have gotten tunnel vision and moved right in on him.
Which would have been, I mean, we would have thought that makes sense. This is the actual threat, but he knows that threat is down, so he goes and clears the car. I think that's like, I mean, really advanced situational awareness there.
The presence of mind here is really astonishing. This guy's unbelievable. He needs to be at the training academy sharing this stuff with the new recruits for sure.
Now, they get the gun away from the guy. Okay, fine. You probably think this guy's not going to make it, but I do think it's really exemplary that the second that they get him into cuffs, this officer starts looking at things. I mean, obviously not going to do a lot of triage to a head wound, but he does start looking and going, okay, I need to start making some abilities here, see if we can get some first aid to this guy, because killing is not his goal, stopping the threat is.
Hey, fellow cops, do me a favor. If one of your partners is in a shooting in this situation, just get him out of there. Don't let him, he should not be the one having to break out trauma shears and check this guy for wounds. He's just been in the most traumatic incident of his entire life, and now for some reason he has to direct everyone else to what to do. He has to break out the trauma shears. Other people are kind of running around like headless chickens. Get in there and give him a hand. Get him away from the scene. Tell him it's going to be okay. You know, make sure he's not hurt. He's just above and beyond here.
Yeah, I really think this is like next level stuff here. He's just been in an officer involved shooting, and he's the scene commander. Not only is he scene commanding, but he's directing medical care here and trying to see what's going on. So he's like the Swiss Army knife of cops right now.
Can we get this guy a nicer car?
Please, we need to get him a replacement.
Why is he driving an 05 Crown Vic?
A metal, something like that. I think he's a stud. I will say again, I would really suggest one of the other officers needs to take over here, because he's clearly, I mean, he's emotionally very present, and kudos to him for that. But really what he needs to be doing right now is he needs to be sitting in someone else's patrol car, take his badge cam off, cool off a little bit, and wait for his rep to get there and make sure he's okay. One last thing I will say here, as somebody who's used them, recognize that those little $8 shears that he's using there, they're $8 for a reason, right? And you might want to use those because you're like, I'm going to get some blood with hepatitis on it or something, and so I can just toss them and get a new pair. But recognize he's having a hard time with them because they stink, because they're really not very good.
And not only, I mean, that's partly because the shears aren't very good, partly because he's, I'm sure the adrenaline is having some effect as well. But yeah, those shears they're not great. They should be cutting through that like a hot knife through butter, and they're not.
And sometimes they just won't. So, you do the best you can with what you have, but that's a reason that I actually carry a much higher quality pair, because when it comes to time to need it, I want it to work very, very well.
You were telling me that you had an incident where you responded to an accident, or you were at the scene of an accident, and you actually got a new pair from the EMS. Is that true?
Yeah, at times what will happen, I've been a first responder at a couple of car wrecks, and they won't let you, take another pair of Leatherman Raptors or something like that.
Right.
But, if you need to resupply your gauze or something like that because you used it, oftentimes they'll allow you to do that, and kudos to them for that. I think this guy is another member of the Special Hem Pants Club.
Yeah.
Because he definitely needs to special order pants with the size of his giant cojones.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable to him, and thank God everyone else was safe. Mike, thanks for the insight.
Hey, they did a great job. So remember, gang, don't forget to smash that like button and hit the bell and hey, man.
No, we don't do that.
I thought